What is up guys, it's your boy Swell. I'm here, back with another World of Warcraft video for the War Within, and today I want to talk about my favorite professions so far, having played the beta. This video will be coming out a couple of days before the expansion comes out, maybe even like a week or a little bit less than a week before the expansion comes out, depending on whether or not you have the early access to the expansion itself. Now, me making this video hopefully lets you understand a little bit more of where I'm coming from when it comes to the expansion and how I'm tackling it, there we go, and also which professions I'm going to put my time, energy, and focus into. So basically which professions I'm going to try to squeeze out the maximum gold with, and also a little bit of how. So not only am I going to show you or tell you about my favorite professions, but also I'm going to go into how I'm planning to make gold with those professions, so you guys can do the same. Either way, there we go. Now, before we get into that part, I do want to say thank you all so much for the support recently on my videos here on YouTube. I have been focusing a lot on classic WoW videos for quite a while. You might have seen that if you've been playing Season of Discovery or even Cataclysm and following my content for a while. I am focusing a lot on classic WoW. I'm still playing classic WoW as well, but I've hard shifted my content to the War Within for now. And every time you shift your content from one type of the game to another one, it is a little bit difficult and can be very scary. But I just want to say thank you all so much for the support on my War Within Goldmaking videos and my War Within videos in general. I just want to say thank you for the likes, the feedback, the comments, and all the nice messages. Once again, thank you so much. And I want to extend another thank you to everyone who's picked up my War Within Goldmaking Guide already. If you haven't, the link is down below. And the support on this guide has been absolutely insane. I don't have any words for it. And the messages I get from people that buy the guide as well with the kind words, it means a lot to me. I've put a lot of time into this guide, and even right now I'm still putting a lot of time into the guide. Even though we're not technically updating the guide, there's an update coming for the launch, but I'm making exclusive videos that you have access to and early access videos as well. So when you buy the guide, you first of all get access to the guide itself, where we talk more about gold making and even with professions, to how to spend your knowledge points and how to squeeze out the maximum amount of gold that you can with every single profession in the game. In addition to that, we have found some single player gold farms, solo gold farms, and even group farms for the beta that are in that guide that you will have access to at launch, so you can do the best gold farms when other people don't even know about them. So if you want my help making gold, then check out that gold making guide through the link down below, and if you get the guide, your support means absolutely everything to me. And I just want to say that when you buy the guide, you also get access to a Discord server where I give you guys exclusive videos and early access to gold making videos and gold farms. As an example of that, we actually have 3 videos in early access right now. One of them is this one right here, which takes gold making to a whole new level. It's kind of for the ultimate goblins out there. Not everyone wants to do this, but if you minimax a little bit, you can make a lot of gold. And then we have this video as well, where we have found an absolutely broken gold making method. Well, as of right now on the beta, this is absolutely broken. It might get nerfed before the launch, but I'm really hoping it doesn't, because I have basically already leveled some characters in retail with the MOP remix specifically for this gold making method, and it is looking absolutely insane. It is broken. So once again, this video as well not in early access, exclusive access, and we have 1 video in early access as well. So 3 exclusive videos and 1 early access video, and that is before the expansion even comes out. Either way, that's a long intro, long shout out, but once again, my videos tend to be a little bit long. I talk a little bit, I ramble, I yap, and then we talk more about the actual gold making stuff as well, where instead of just keeping the videos short, I want to explain them in depth. So let's go. Now, the first profession that I'll be focusing a little bit on in the War Within is going to be Enchanting. I have recently made a video on Enchanting as well, where I cover this exact gold making strategy in a little bit more depth, but I'm going to talk about it here as well. So my plan with Enchanting is basically to get to the point of guaranteeing quality 2 enchants. So if we go through some of them, you can get quality 3, like the Bracer enchantments for example, because they have such a low skill requirement. Now I will say, at the moment I'm playing on a character with maxed out talent points, so you will not have this at launch, so just look away from my actual skill points here and just listen to what I'm saying instead. So for example, we try to get to the weapon enchants, and we try to get these and guarantee them at quality 2. At the moment I have spent a whole bunch of knowledge points to get to a really high number here of skill points. You will not be here in week 1 or even week 2, but if you're able to guarantee quality 2 enchants, you can then use your concentration to get them to quality 3, and one of the only ways to get quality 3 enchants at the start will be to spend your concentration. So it's all about supply and demand, right? It's all about who can supply this, and once again you will have to spend your concentration kind of here to get those high quality enchants, and some of them even are locked behind reputations, raids, or even renown, or renown and acuity. So you have to buy the recipes for the enchants as well. So for example, I have currently unlocked, if we go to profession enchant, we have Algari Ingenuity, which you get for free by having this one right here, the Earthen Enchantment for terrific tools. That being said, the other ones you have to buy. So going down here to Algari Deafness, for example, you have to spend 150 acuity to buy that one. You have the Finesse one, once again 150 acuity, and you have the Perception one, same thing, and you have Resourcefulness, same thing. Now, when you think about supply and demand, in the first week, in the first couple of weeks basically before the season starts, a lot of people will be focusing on professions. They will be leveling up the professions. Gold makers will try to get the best tools that they can for their professions. And what do you think people want to do when they have their best tool with the best stat at the highest quality they can? Well, they want to look for enchant. You can be that guy, supplying those people with enchants. And once again, if you look here, this will require a bunch of acuity, which you might have to do some, a little bit goblin stuff to get those acuities. It will be basically 600 acuity to buy all of these recipes on one character. Now you can also split it up and have 2 separate enchanters where you buy 2 recipes on every single enchanter if you don't have the acuity to buy all of them, right? And then you focus on making these enchants, the profession enchants, and using your concentration to get them to quality 3 and sell those quality 3 enchants. Because once again, going back to supply and demand, there will be a very few amount of people supplying this based on the concentration you have to spend to actually get this to quality 3, and then you also have to spend your acuity to get the recipes to make the enchant itself. So you will have to spend a limited resource, and you will then have to spend another limited resource. So there's 2 limited resources here: the concentration limited resource, and then you also have the acuity limited resource. And everyone will be focusing on professions, and when they get their best tool, they'll be looking to supply that best tool with the best enchant for that tool. So you can focus on resourcefulness, that is pretty important, pretty good for crafting. You have perception for farming, you have finesse, and you have deftness, and you also have ingenuity. Now, I'm just gonna say ingenuity long term is a little bit useless for most professions, but at the start it will be very important. Having access to more concentration directly gives you more gold, and ingenuity basically is an inspiration proc that sometimes gives you concentration back. So if you hover over here, ingenuity, you have a X amount of % chance to have an ingenious breakthrough when spending concentration, refunding 100% of the concentration spent. Now, exactly how much you get back, I think it starts on 50%, and I have put some points into supplementary shattering over here for the ingenuity part to get even more concentration back, but you start on 50%. So to recap Enchanting really quickly, you want to get Enchanting, get to the point of guaranteeing quality 2 enchants, and then spending your concentration to get those to quality 3, and in week 1 you really want to focus on profession tools. When it comes to weapon enchantments, for example, people don't really care about that until the raids open anyway. Like, why would you spend a bunch of gold getting a weapon enchant when you can get a better weapon next week? And they don't even matter. Like, until the raids open or Mythic Plus opens, who really cares about getting best in slot enchants? So these will be more in demand whenever the season starts, and when Mythic Plus dungeons opens, heroic raids open, and especially when the Mythic raids open as well. So for me, I'm focusing on profession tools week 1, and starting in week 2 and week 3, that is when I'm starting to focus on weapon enchantments, even cloak enchantments, and everything else. Now, when it comes to the easy enchants, like for example the cloak enchantments, or any enchant enchants that has a lower skill requirement, you really want to have a tool with resourcefulness on it to just make sure you make gold by making regular enchants as well. And these enchants are likely going to sell for less than the material cost, so the only way you make profit is by having resourcefulness. That is where your profit will be. So once again, the enchant itself will very likely cost less than the materials, because profitability will be locked behind resourcefulness and having a tool with resourcefulness on it, with the enchant resourcefulness as well, and then speccing into even more resourcefulness, so just maxing out the resource stat. Now next up we have Inscription, and for Inscription there's a lot of ways to make gold with Inscription, and I'm going to focus on 3 separate ways. Now, number 1, you have milling, where you focus on milling herbs to get the highest quality pigments back that you can, and I've put in a lot of knowledge points here, but I haven't put in all the ones that I can, but I've put in all the ones that are relevant to what I'm trying to craft in this case, and as you can see I'm milling, we're trying to mill quality 3, and we still don't get a guaranteed quality 3 when doing milling. That being said, I can still upgrade my tools, and I can also get some accessories, so when I get that we can get to guaranteed quality 3 on milling, and then mill quality 3 pigments. We will then use those quality 3 pigments to also get quality 3 ink, with once again upgraded tools, upgraded accessories, and making ink. When we have done that, we can then focus on crafting reagents, where we spend quality 3 ink and quality 3 herbs to make quality 3 crafting reagents that are then further used by other people in their craft. So it's a multi-step process. Step 1 is milling and making sure you have enough knowledge points to mill at the maximum quality you can to get quality 3 pigments, and then you make that into quality 3 ink, and then you spend the ink to make quality 3 reagents. For this you can have 3 separate scribes set up, where scribe number 1 only focuses on milling, scribe number 2 only focuses on making ink, and scribe number 3 only focuses on making reagents. That being said, you can start combining them really early as well, because you get a lot of knowledge points really quickly. So for example, if you want to have both milling and also inks, that's going to be about 70 knowledge points, which, believe me, you will get that really fast. So it will be more like, how much? 75 knowledge points, right? So you need 15 here, and then 30 plus 30, 75 knowledge points. I'm just going to spoil it right now. You will get that on week 1, or you can get that on week 1 if you do a little bit of min-maxing. So you can have one scribe set up both for milling and for crafting inks at the same time, and then you can have another one set up for making ciphers, where you can go a little bit more extreme. Now, I'm just going to say from the start, there is a massive benefit to having 3 separate scribes, where each one focuses on one job, and that is so that, for example, let's just say that I only want to mill on this character. In this case, we will spend 30 skill points here, because that gives me +1 skill points into everything, including milling, and then we put 30 skill points into milling. At this point, we have now spent 60 knowledge points. Now, instead of wasting knowledge points on inks or ciphers, we can go over to Pursuit of Knowledge, and over here you can see we get a lot of benefits. Over here we get +3 Ingenuity, Resourcefulness, and Multicraft for every single point spent. By the way, this is like the jack of all trades, and then you can focus on either one of them, where over here you have Ingenuity, over here you have Resourcefulness, and over here you have Multicraft. And I don't think I have to tell you why having those stats will be beneficial, right? When you make ink, as you can see, Multicraft 10% right here, Multicraft will directly give you more benefit, like more profit, and resourcefulness as well. You will save gold for the craft you spend, so you will craft things cheaper, and Multicraft you will craft more, so you make more gold and you spend less gold in the same process. So if you want to really make gold with this, you want to specialize into one thing for Inscription, or for scribes, where you have one scribe set up. The milling part is really easy, by the way, because for milling you only need 60 skill points, because you go 30 here, then 30 here, and for milling, there is no resourcefulness and there's no multicraft. So setting up a milling character, you only have to spend 60 knowledge points and you're good to go. But for making inks, you will spend 60 here, then 60 here, 30 plus 30, so 60, and then you want all of these as well. That is 180 knowledge points. So yeah, 180 knowledge points to make ink, and then you do the same thing for ciphers, where you have 30 points spent in here, and then 30 points spent into improved ciphers, and then you max out Pursuit of Knowledge. So 180 knowledge points for ciphers, 180 knowledge points for ink, and then just 60 knowledge points for milling. 3 separate characters make bank. Now, my third profession here would be Jewelcrafting, and this one is a little bit easier to understand because, for example, the method number 1 to make gold is by crushing and prospecting, where all you do is put knowledge points into, talents that benefit these ones and gives you more gold back. When it comes to prospecting and even crushing, the only thing you really care about, well, for prospecting, the only stat you really care about is resourcefulness. So having a tool with resourcefulness and also the resourceful enchant on the tool as well will then give you more gold when you're doing prospecting. And for crushing, you can actually get these to quality 3 by spending ingenuity, and once again, resourcefulness will save you gold whenever doing so. If you go over here to this skill tree as well, you can then focus on gem finding for prospecting and for crushing. So as you can see here, you will improve your stuff, gaining +1 skill to crushing per point spent, and when you learn this, you have a small chance to receive additional reagents when prospecting. So speccing into this, you will just learn how to find more stuff, and you can then focus on finding more sapphires, finding more rubies, finding more onyx, or finding more emeralds. And by speccing throughout this tree, you will also just find more stuff and crush faster, and also crush faster and prospect faster. At the end here, you now have a chance to uncover an ambivalent amber as an additional byproduct when prospecting, and over here you have a chance to uncover a crushed gemstones of an equivalent quality to the ores that you're prospecting. So once again, just giving you more stuff from prospecting and from crushing. For this one, you literally just pick up this talent point right here, you spend enough to get a sub-spec, so 10 points, then you spend 40 points, 20 points, 20 points, 20 points, and 20 points. It is very straightforward for prospecting. You are just, once again, making sure you make as much gold as possible from prospecting ore, and that's it. Number 2 method of making gold that I'm going to be focusing on for Jewelcrafting is getting to the point of making quality 2 gems and then spending concentration to get them to quality 3. Now, I could be able to combine this with having prospecting plus crushing, so I can do it all on the same character, but maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. And as you can see, when it comes to crafting your gems, you benefit from resourcefulness and multicraft, and if you spend concentration, you even benefit from ingenuity. Now for me, multicraft is usually the one that I try to go for here, so having a tool with multicraft and the multicraft enchant, or resourcefulness enchant if we can get that one instead, and then spending concentration to get quality 3. Now for this one, you don't really have to set that much up. As you can see, I have just picked up Jewelcrafting. We have 51 skill in Jewelcrafting. We don't have any tools, we don't have any accessories, and we are already getting them at quality 2. Now we can spend 464 concentration to get them at quality 3 instead, but we can also start spending knowledge points if you haven't yet. So for example, I have not put these in yet, so we're just going to learn that, and we're going to focus on rubies in this case. So we're going to get 30 knowledge points put into rubies as well to make rubies, and just to max these out completely, we'll max out versatile ruby in this case, so spending even more knowledge points on rubies right here. And then let's go to some ruby crafts. In this case, we have the masterful ruby, which now we are on 302 skill out of 420. Once again, we are lacking 50 skill points here, and we also don't have any tools or accessories, but even now we are almost halfway, and we can spend 300 concentration to guarantee this one at quality 3, and then sell the gems at quality 3. This will be heavily gated or geared towards selling gems to people when they get their best in slot gear. This is usually going to happen when Mythic Plus opens and the raid opens, but even before that, when people get access to crafting epic gear, which you need stones for, right, so that's when the season opens as well, but when people start crafting epic items, they can gem those epic items, and you can be the guy supplying them with quality 3 gems. And as you can see, even after maxing out and going into the ruby spec over here, we're still not able to, we're still 120 knowledge points away from guaranteeing quality 3. Now, that's even with quality 3 quality 3 here, by the way, so even with quality 3 materials. So you might never be able to guarantee quality 3, the only way to actually get quality 3 might actually be to spend concentration, in which case this could be a really good way to make gold, both in the short term and in the long term. Now, I also have to give an honorable mention to tailoring, because I will be spending quite a lot of time skilling up tailoring as well, as I have a bunch of tailoring alts set up for cooldown craft, but I've talked about that so much in previous videos that I didn't really want that to be a main part of this video, but it's once again worth mentioning really quick. So I'm just going to be able to, I'm going to put some knowledge points in to start making Duskweave bolts and Dawnweave bolts and get them to the highest quality that I can, and once again focusing on multicraft as a stat here, and also resourcefulness. For this one, I'm just going to put all of my knowledge points into from dusk until dawn as early as I can, and then go into anything else that benefits for tailoring specifically. So we have quality cloth, for example, where you can go to quality fabric, we have textiles, and we also have the threads of devotion. This one you don't really benefit from though, but anything else you can actually benefit from. So yeah, over here, for example, the less is more, giving you more multicraft per point spent, which is pretty good. Then you have this one for ingenuity, and you have this one for resourcefulness. So they're all of these three are very good to have, and will just once again give you more gold and help you get better at the profession as a whole. So I'm going to be getting quite a few tailors skilled up really early and get to the point of making passive gold from doing these crafts. That being said, I do think a lot of people have the same plans when it comes to tailoring, so we'll see exactly how much gold we make with the cooldown crafts here, which will be interesting to see. Do we end up making 100 gold per day per character, 1,000 gold per day, 10,000 gold? Who really knows? It will be interesting to see. Either way, that's basically the video for today, so let me know your plans in the comments down below, and I would actually love to hear this. Those were my top 3 professions, right? Where we talked about Enchanting, we talked about Inscription, and we talked about the Jewelcrafting. If you have any top 3 professions, or if you had to pick 3 for the War Within, which ones would you pick? Let me know in the comments down below, and why would you pick them? Either way, that's what I have for you, so once again, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, check out my gold making guide if you haven't already, the link is down below, and as always, thank you for the support, and thank you for being here. I will see you again in the next video very soon.